Hello, all my fellow YouTubers out there. This is Stiletto coming at you on a grim day from the Wild Wild West. Yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. My beloved cold steel has been sold. They were purchased by a company called GSM, a company that specializes in owning other outdoor companies, mostly have to do with hunting and stuff like that. And it looks like Lynn Thompson might be retiring, which is cool though, because he's been around for a long time. He's been around since the '80s, promoting cold steel knives and running the company. So I don't really have a problem with that, because I can understand wanting to retire one day. I want to retire one day. And I sort of wish that he would let somebody like Andrew Dimko run the company, and they could still make profits from the company or whatever. But he decided to sell the company. But he did sell the company to another American company, though, it looks like. So it won't be like Camillus and Charade when they sold their companies to overseas manufacturers, and the companies totally went downhill. I hope, knowing that it's belonging to an American company that makes mostly American products, I hope it won't be like that. But it is a sad time for me. I found out about this yesterday when I was at work. I worked a double shift, so I didn't get home until real late last night, so I didn't get a chance to make a video. I'm going to make another video this afternoon when I get home from work. I'm getting ready to go to work, and I have a discussion about it or whatever. It's kind of depressing for me. But on the bright side, though, I have tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of cold steel knives from the 2000s all the way up until now. I have a massive collection of cold steel knives. And I might be sitting on a gold mine, I don't know. Maybe the prices are going to double or whatever, because they won't be making them no more. I don't know what's going to happen. This is what I project, that they will continue to try to make the knives that were the most popular or whatever and sold the most. I don't know if they're going to continue to make things like swords and blowguns and all the other stuff that they made, like axes, and I don't know, all the other stuff that Cold Steel made. Cold Steel made a lot of stuff. And I'm not sure if they're going to be, I don't know how well those sold, and so I'll be curious to see how well those types of items hang out and last or whatever. But I do expect them to sell like the 4-inch knives and smaller. Those are knives that are pretty much can be sold anywhere in the United States, and so I think there would still be a big market for those. But I sort of wonder what's going to happen to the extra large folders, the larger and extra large folders. And those are some of the reasons why I'd start buying cold steels in the first place, because they're the only ones that are making big, safe, sturdy, for real, not gimmicky or junky big knives. I think that's what I'm gonna do this afternoon. I'm gonna pull out some of my old favorite big knives and have a show about them and talk about cold steel. But these are my favorite smaller knives. The Holdout, this is the original ones. These are the Oz 8 ones. I like these because these have thicker handle scales. The original Talwar 4-inch. These two have been my favorite to carry on my motorcycle for years now. American Lawman, one of my favorite work knives for years. Recon 1, one of my other favorite work knives. I hope they still make them. It's going to be sad if they stop making these things. Because no other manufacturer really dedicated themselves to making really good, super strong fixed spades and folders like Cold Steel did. And Cold Steel didn't make gimmicky knives. You know, they made really good, heavy-duty work knives, and knives that were good for self-defense, knives that were good for soldiers, knives that were good for law enforcement, emergency rescue people. They made the real deal. You know, you could say whatever you want about Lynn Thompson, but you know, Lynn Thompson to me is like one of the people that got me into collecting. I'm gonna be serious about that. You know, sure, I always had knives in my life and stuff like that, but I didn't really start collecting a lot of knives until I started seeing Lynn Thompson doing his videos, and with Andrew Demko and all the other people that are in his staff doing the ambassadors doing videos with Lynn Thompson. You know, it was sometimes it was kind of a little bit corny, but you know, but it was always entertaining. And what other company does that? What other company? You know, Lynn Thompson to me is like the Muhammad Ali of the knife manufacturers. Before Muhammad Ali came along, boxing didn't pay a whole lot of money to the boxers. But Muhammad Ali came along, and you know, he had a big mouth and pissed off a lot of people, and a lot of people loved him. You know, sort of like the same thing that Lynn Thompson does, and because his heroes were big time wrestling, and he took that into boxing, and he started, you know, I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. My name is Muhammad Ali. You know, I mean, he did that with boxing, and Lynn Thompson did the same thing to the knife world. And I love Lynn Thompson. I never met him. I never met any of his staff. I never went to one of the parking lot sales because I was always working, and I'm always been a busy person. But I absolutely love Lynn Thompson, and I don't know. It makes me sad. It makes me sad because I guess I am a real Cold Steel fan. Have been for last 20 years. And in my book, he'll be missed. Because I don't see anybody else out there that's like Lynn Thompson in the knife world. Knife world is going to go back to being boring again. Lynn Thompson made the knife world exciting. He was never afraid to make things that he liked. He didn't care about if other people would like it or not. I think that's the way he sort of was. I'm sure he worried about the marketing a little bit, but he was driven by a passion that he had. I know a lot of people didn't like the hunting stuff that he did, killing animals and stuff like that, but, you know, that was Lynn Thompson. You know, I grew up hunting and fishing too. I grew up in a family, or a culture of families that my grandparents and all my relatives and cousins, we all hunted. And they were all in the military. And I guess that's one of the things that they sort of did after they, you know, came back from wars or you know, exited the military. You know, they still wanted to hunt and shoot guns and teach their children how to hunt and shoot guns and all that kind of stuff. That's the kind of family I grew up in. So, you know, all the little stuff that Lynn Thompson did didn't really bother me because I came from a family that did, you know, spent all their time hunting every seasons and stuff like that. But absolutely loved the man. Never met him, but I think he's awesome. I think Cold Steel was one of the most awesome knife companies that's ever been. Sure, they didn't make everything in the United States and all that kind of stuff like that, but they still made awesome products. You know what I mean? These knives have all been, these two have been with me for over 10 years. Or, I don't know when they came out. It seems like it's been like 10 years. And these are the CTSX HPs, and these are the Oz 8 ones. Sure, I have these in CTSX HP, and I have this one, these in S35VN. I never got any more of these because I have a bunch of these in Oz 8 also. But these have been my favorites for a long time. And my other favorites would be the Voyagers. You know, I don't have that; those are in my car right now. So, but I'm gonna do a video when I get off of work today. and it's probably gonna be a long video. And I'm gonna go through some of my old knives and talk about Lynn Thompson and what I think of the company and how much I miss them, and how much I hope GSM doesn't do to cold steel like AMF did to Harley Davidson, where they took over the, it was American manufacturer, but AMF, but they took over the company and just treated it like a redheaded stepchild. Let it run into the ground, and never improve anything, and built crappy motorcycles. And I hope they don't do that to cold steel. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys this afternoon. Peace out. Stiletto.